Hello everyone, welcome back to Mohana Astrology. Rajshri here. Today's video is slightly different. Here I'm going to discuss about a few things that keeps coming back as comments and also in my emails be asked by all of you. Transits or Gochar. Now, there have been a lot of confusion in many people's mind how to see Gochar, whether to see from Ascendant, whether to see from Moon. I explained it in one of my comments, but it's better that I put it out in video. If you are following Vedic astrology, it's a very good idea to get used to moon sign based Gochar to understand how transits affect you from moon signs. Why? Because our rishis, our sages, and the ancient Vedic texts all focus on moon sign based transits. Why is that so? It's not only because that in earlier times only the elite section like the kings and the queens and the royalties used to record their time of birth. That is one reason, but that's not all. If you see the way our birth chart is constructed and the way our results are deciphered based on this birth chart, you will see that in Vedic astrology, it's all based on moon, where your moon is placed. From there, we even decipher the dashas, mahadashas, antardashas, based on that moon nakshatra. Now, every person's chart has two aspects. One is the promise, which comes with the static chart, at the chart that you got at the time of your birth. There, based on ascendant and also based on your moon, your life's pattern is deciphered. Now, the other part is how your life is going to be going forward. The static promise is something else, but whether that's going to be manifested, whether you will get the right dashas to utilize the promises or not, that comes with the dynamic part. Now, that dynamic part constitutes of two elements. Number one, the mahadashas, antardashas, pratantar dashas, sukshma dashas, and pranadashas. Secondly, the transits or the gochars. Now, this mahadasha calculation and gochar calculation are all done from moon. When we go into the intricacies of how this transit is going to impact us, we see the nakshatras. We see from which nakshatra a particular planet is transiting in the sky, and we see how that placement is working out for us based on our own birth nakshatra. So it's again moon, not ascendant. So should we discard ascendant completely? No, not at all. Our sages have said that there are several ways of assessing the transits. The most recognized and the most appreciated effective one being from moon. Then we also see from ascendant. Then we also see from Arudha Lagna. So there are several ways of seeing it, and it applies when we are assessing the individual charts. Then we need to take into account all these things. For general view, for general predictions, the moon sign based predictions work pretty fine. The moon signs based predictions work well. Now, there are certain rules as to how to see the Gochar. If you follow Phaladipika, you will find all the rules there. It's very nicely laid out over there. Some people say that see where the planet is transiting from and the results are fixed. It's going to happen accordingly. Somehow I never followed that. I used to, and I still do follow the aspects, the conjunctions, in which sign that particular planet is placed. Depending on that, I assess how the transit is going to work out for a particular sign, and it works really well. I incidentally got a huge validation of my method from Sri Kane Rao's video. There was a video that I shared long time ago, about 6-8 months ago. And in that video, he has actually expressed that we should take into account aspects, conjunctions, and the placement of the planet in the sign. All of this together will give the holistic result even when seen from moon. Now, this is what I felt is working absolutely fine with me, my predictions, and people do come back to me with multiple requests year after year, not only for themselves but also for their family members, because the predictions match. Now, had I only considered ascendant, I couldn't have come to this level of accuracy probably. Had I only considered moon, I couldn't have done the same again. So it's an amalgamation of everything, but when I do it for general predictions, only sign-based predictions, then I prefer moon signs. But when I do the monthly predictions, I do include ascendant-based predictions as well. It's a combined prediction that you will find. Otherwise, for each individual planet transit, when I discuss those individual planet transit, like you have seen in my recent Saturn video, it's moon sign based. You see Saraswati from moon, not from ascendant. You see your Ashtama Shani from moon, not from ascendant. Kantaka Shani from moon, not from ascendant. So these are a few things that I thought needs clarification. And also one more thing, when we do assess transits in individual birth charts, we also see from that particular planet where the current Gochar planet is placed, how many houses away, where it's placed. Now think of this. When you are seeing from moon, you are already taking your natal moon. So one planet is already taken. And from there you are seeing the placement of other planets. So that is, that makes even more sense to me. Results seen from moon sign and results seen from ascendant is not always the same. For example, when Jupiter comes to your ascendant, it fortifies your ascendant. It gives you prosperity, it gives you confidence, makes you knowledgeable, you have a better decision making power, that happens. When Jupiter comes to your moon sign, you get mental anxiety. Things become a little erratic in your life. So things are different. There are several examples like that. We need to take into account these things as well when we are assessing Gochar. Lastly, it's said, and it has become a very common thing to say, that you see how the transits are impacting your mind, your emotions from moon, and you see how it is impacting your life, your physical life, when you see it from ascendant. Now tell me one thing. When a Gochar or a transit seen from moon is indicating that you will be relocating to a different place, and your dashas are also supporting the same, you physically relocate. You don't relocate in your mind. Now, impact on the mind, on emotion is there, but that's not all. The physical changes can also be assessed from transit seen from moon. When it's indicated that money will come in, the physical money actually comes in your life. You don't think in your mind that, okay, I became prosperous by having so much of money and be happy about it. It actually happens. So there are several things, that we need to understand, that we need to judge before we come to a conclusion that, okay, this should be discarded or this should be followed. It doesn't work like that. Jyotish is not that black and white thing. Jyotish is a mixture of several colors put together, because our own lives have different vibes, our own lives have different aspects. So take into account everything. Do not discard things thinking that this will not work. When certain things are laid out in the ancient texts, in the original texts, there is a reason for that, and we need to respect that. So this is what I had to discuss about transit or Gochar. I hope this will clarify a lot of doubts. Put your comments in the comment box. I would love to hear those. Not always I can respond to everyone's comment, but apologies for that. It's due to lack of time. But when possible, I'll do it. Thank you so much. May God bless us all.